Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Let's start our video with a short tale of petty revenge. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Drive at me and not wear a seatbelt? Say bye-bye to that deposit. Short story. Walking back from getting lunch, I check before starting to cross the road, and as I take 2 steps into the road, a hire van who failed to indicate he was turning the exit I was crossing sped into the exit. I quickly pull myself back to have the van pass only inches from me, with the driver looking angry that I dared to legally cross the road, all this while not wearing his seatbelt. Kicker. I followed him into the car park, waited for him to leave the van, called the hire company, and advised them of what had happened. Someone's about to lose their deposit and have a nice conversation with Her Majesty's finest. And our second story. Okay, have it your way. This story isn't about me, but I was there and saw everything. I'm a mechanic. I was recently hired at this independent mechanic shop as a specialist for a certain tri-prong car. My Russian coworker, who we'll be focusing on in this story, is as grizzled and hardened a mechanic who's been running a wrench longer than I've been alive. He's been around the block with both domestic and import, of the Asian variety dealerships, more than I can count. Suffice to say, this guy knows his crap and has the experience to back it up. Anyway, so you have an idea of what he's like. 2 months into working at the indie shop, it changes owners. The new owners had different ideas and immediately start to micromanage everyone, telling us to abort what we were doing and work on another car, then have us abort work on that car and work on yet another car, and, well, you get the idea. I was fuming. Coworker was nonplussed. I guess he already had experienced it all. Coworker was told to change the timing belt on this car. Proper protocol was to inspect the water pump, change timing belt tensioner, check valve spec, inspect for metal shaving, etc. Basically, while you were there, having removed everything out of the way, it'd be smart to check everything else and replace them as necessary. That way, if we saw something noteworthy, then it would be replaced and the customer saw very minimal markup. Customer's happy because we save them a costly repair, we get a repeat customer, and he refers new customers to us. Win-win. So the new owner decides that these checks were too time-consuming and therefore unnecessary. Owner will be O, I will be me, coworker will be CO. CO's working on the car, owner walks in, he's reading the work order on the car CO's working on. Oh, hey, I need that car done ASAP. CO, all right, boss, I only need to check for... Oh, interrupting, no. When I say ASAP, I mean ASAP. No checks, just finish the job and let me know. CO, but what? Oh, no belt tensioner, no water pump, just the belt. Owner leaves. Me. Hey, CO, wasn't that engine known for valve issues? CO. Yep. Me. So what, you're not going to check it? CO. Nope. Me. But what about the belt tensioner or the water pump? I pick it up. The timing belt tensioner had very obvious scoring and was gummed up from gunked oil. It needed to be replaced yesterday. The engine in the car is an interference engine, so the tensioner breaks, the timing belt goes out, and valves kiss the piston. Usually when that happens, the entire engine is replaced at a very high cost. This was very bad news. The water pump wasn't in better condition either. It was weeping from the bearing, and there was so much calcified coolant around the water pump that it was making noise as the pulley spun. The impellers on the water pump were so corroded that some of the fins were gone. Basically, the water pump was maybe at 40% of the original capacity. Again, very bad news. CO. Nope. Me. What? Wouldn't this car overheat and stop and go traffic? CO. Yup. Me. But what? Why? CO. Watch, this car will be back and he will pay. I've long ago learned to treat my coworker words as gospel when it comes to cars. He's never been wrong. So coworker buttons the car back, owner's happy, customer's happy, all is well. Until 2 weeks later, the car's towed back to us. Customer is furious. She's shrieking at the owner so loud that we can hear her over the noisy shop. Coworker smirking. Out of curiosity, I open the engine oil cap and am greeted with something that happens when the car overheats. The head gasket gets damaged and coolant mixes into the oil, creating this creaming substance. That engine was done. It needed to be replaced at a cool $2,500 plus labor, at the owner's expense. The owner storms in, absolutely furious. Oh, CO, why didn't you change the water pump then? CO, well, boss, you told me not to. Oh, nonetheless, you should have told me about it. CO, you specifically told me that you wanted the car done ASAP. Besides, isn't this your handwriting? He brings up the work order from the last job, which had multiple lines crossed out, including, you guessed it, the water pump, and was signed by the owner. Owner's so mad he storms off. A new engine's ordered and installed at his expense. But wait, do you remember I said he was a micromanaging owner who pulled us off of a car and onto another car, often in the middle of a job in the beginning? Well, he liked to pull this sort of stuff on all of us, ordering us to do only the bare minimum and moving cars out as fast as possible, and this went on for 2 weeks. Let that sink in a little bit. Soon enough, cars started coming in / towed in, and all of them were from the previous 2 weeks' work. They all ranged from minor things to full-on lawsuit-worthy things like brake failure. There were a lot of angry customers. There was a lot of shouting. Our receptionist, a very sweet young girl who'd been with us a couple years and was well-loved by us, quit in tears. I estimate that the new owner lost about $100,000 fixing those cars, but the real kicker was the loss of reputation. The shop used to be a good, reputable one that had a couple million in revenue each year under the old owners. The new owner, he barely cleared $1 million, and most of that he had to pay to fix the problems that he caused. After that, word got around, and the shop never completely recovered. I know about it because he got into a shouting match with the previous owner about the very fact, and it was audible on the shop floor. I quit a month after because I got a better offer at a competing indie shop. My old indie shop went under a couple of months after that. It still makes me sad to drive by the old shop and see it closed. The old owners were great. And our last story. Mess with me, and I will burn your life to ash. So just shy of 2 years ago, I was looking to move out of my folks' house, and an acquaintance I knew from college was in the process of trying to get his house back from his ex. He fed me a sob story about his evil ex and how much money he spent on the house. I felt a little bad for him. I'd known him for quite a few years. I knew he was odd and a bit of an a-hole at the time, but I felt he knew better than to F with me. The deal was simple. I pay you money, and you let me live in the house, leave me the F alone, and take my money. All was well for a while. I noticed small stuff disappearing, spices, rice, bread, etc. Stuff that doesn't really even matter, but he took it anyway without asking. Whatever, it's small stuff. I'm just here long enough to save for a house and move. Then I really began to realize the dude was effed up. I knew he was a little racist before I moved in, but I didn't know the extent. When I couldn't avoid talking to his weird butt, he would go on tirades against literally anyone and everyone. Worse than his racial tirades, though, were his complete disregard for human life. We were both into guns, so I guess for whatever reason in his head, it was okay to tell me this. He would tell me that if he ever lost everything, what he'd do. Crap like wanting to shoot as many cops and civilians as he could, like it was some sick game with a high score to win. I began to realize I really need to get the F out of here. But if I can keep my head down a little longer, I can go straight from here to my own house. So I'll stick it out and keep an eye on this guy. So then he gets a new girlfriend. Turns out she's a massive B, super obnoxious, also a thief, know-it-all, etc. Whatever, I'll deal with it. Just keep my head down and away from them, pay my bills, get out when the time's right. Now here's the kicker. She's massively overweight. He can't keep a girl because he's clingy and effing crazy, so he's willing to settle for her. Anyways, one night, I bring home a one-night stand. Girl was really overweight, but hey, whatever. Not that big a deal. They both make fun of me for months for bringing home a fat girl. I don't point out the elephant in the room. I just keep my head down. I just want to get out of there. Then one day, I cracked just a little. She locked me out of the house as a prank. That was it. F this B. I've held my tongue for over a year. I'm effing done. All I told her was to go lose some weight. She couldn't handle one single comment about her weight. She demands I'm removed from the house immediately. Landlord tries to force me out with less than a few days' notice. No, F you, I know my rights. The whole thing erupts in a crap storm. So here's where it starts to get good. I decided to leave early, that way I can demand the rest of my rent/deposit back before I hand over the keys on my way out early. He tries to dodge me on it. He literally calls the police to tell them I threatened him via text and to have me removed as a tenant. They get there, asked to see the texts. He can't produce them because he lied. I explained to the cops what's going on. They get there, asked to see the texts. He can't produce them because he lied. I explained to the cops what's going on. They talk him into just paying me to be done with it. He tries to post-date the check. Bank cashes it anyways the next day. The extra hilarious thing, evidently one of the cops knew him from high school. The cop literally told me, "I know that kid. He's a weird effer." So now that I'm out, he's down to just one roommate paying his mortgage. His girlfriend/fiance is supposed to be moving in soon. He can't afford the house on his own still, so he needs her to move in to cover his mortgage by the end of the month. And between me and the other tenant moving out within a few days of each other, he's down $1,280. So here's where it goes nuts. I have a 5-minute audio clip of him talking about going on a mass shooting spree and threatening to blow his office up after he almost got fired earlier this year. I also have proof he cheated on his fat fiancée and text from him making fun of her weight and for being Jewish. I dumped it all 2 days ago, all at once. I've rained down an ungodly firestorm upon him. I've destroyed him. He was fired from his job, seen leaving the building in tears. He can't come back to the building. The text I sent to his girlfriend went unanswered. My gut feeling says that she's so insecure she confronted him about it, and in his teary-eyed state, he just couldn't keep his lie straight. I don't know for sure yet that they've broken up, but if they haven't, it won't be long. Oh, and in a month or two, he'll probably lose that house I helped him keep. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.